What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there. Hello, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. It is Tuesday, March 26th, Tuesday evening to be exact. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I truly do. I really do. You know, if you're doing anything extraordinary, you know I want to know all about it. You know I do. So do not hesitate to share with me. Okay, let me know. Let me know. In today's Women's History Month moment, I share with you Kasturba Mohandas Gandhi. In association with her husband, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Kasturba Gandhi was a political activist fighting for civil rights and Indian independence from the British. During the 1913 protest against working conditions for Indians in South Africa, she was arrested and was sentenced to 3 months in a hard labor prison. And later, in India, she sometimes took her husband's place when he was under arrest. That is today's Women's History moment. And continuing with our Black History 365 moment, on this day in 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X met for the very first time on Capitol Hill while attending a Senate debate on the Civil Rights Act. Family, that is today's Black History 365 moment. I want to send a happy birthday wish to all of our love bugs that are celebrating today. I hope that you are being celebrated in a grand way. You're having a great time. I really do. Family, if you are joining us by way of socials, then let us know. If you're joining us, either way you are actually on socials, or if you want to give us a call, you can do that too. You can do that by dialing 215-634 8065, or you can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. Nick and I love the love that you share. Any way you care to share it, we will receive it. Again, I hope that you're feeling really good and I hope that you're doing well. But if your light is shining just the least bit dimly, or if your heart is even heavy, just know that you are not alone. Know that on behalf of your tribe and your village, I am sending you all the love that I can muster in this moment, every single hug that I can send to you. I hope you feel it, because we want you to know that you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. And I'd like to take this time to just address some recent events. I'm sending prayers and love and condolences and just all the love that they can handle to those deeply affected by the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore today. I know there's a lot going on in that situation. For those who are unaware, or if you missed it by any chance, there was a ship that collided with the bridge. So just praying for all of those involved, just all of those. Just so much, y'all, so much, family. I want to share some things with you. The first of which is to join us for the Level Up Pitch Party and Networking Mixer on Tuesday, April 2nd from 4 till 9 p.m. at the beautiful Philadelphia Fiddler Club, located at 24 South 24th Street in Philadelphia. Celebrating Women's History Month in partnership with WVON Chicago and KJLH Los Angeles, we are highlighting Black women owned businesses who are making a difference in our communities. So, family, come on out and cheer on your favorite business as the 5 finalists vie for a chance to win the grand prize valued at $5,000. Isn't that something? And while you're there, meet and greet the judges and others from various business sectors throughout our city. Visit wordradio.com/level up so you can RSVP for the event. Level Up 2024 is sponsored by Comcast, Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, Bank of America, Live Casino and Hotel, Philadelphia, and Pico. I also want to share with you that in honor of Women's History Month, during the month of March, we want you to show off just how phenomenal you truly are with Word's latest phenomenal women swag. Yes, that's right. This is also a perfect gift for that special woman in your life. It sure is. Our latest swag features a tote bag, notebook, and a long sleeved t shirt. Yes, it does. Get one or get all three. And if you're a Forward member, family, you can get these brand new items with a 25% off code. You sure can. That's right, 25% off for our Forward members. So simply join or renew right now so you can get your discount code via email. Remember, membership does have its privileges. Go to wordradio.com/WHM to start shopping right now. Family, that's wordradio.com/WHM. I see that some of our family members are checking in. Malcolm, I see you there. Malcolm shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy, sending a good evening to the family. Well, good evening to you too, good sir. We receive that and we send it right back to you. And he also shares prayers for Baltimore. I'm telling you, my heart is so heavy for that. That just I just can't imagine. And I watched the video of it actually taking place. I'm not sure if you've seen it on social media. There's a video that actually shows, and I cringed, I couldn't watch it but one time because my heart became so heavy. Eric is checking in. He shares, "Hello, Word family. It's great to see me this chill. Is it chilly? Wait, I must be having a power surge because I was out there like with no coat on. Is it chilly?" Hey, Eric, nice to have you join us as well. Walt is joining us too. Walt Reader. Hey there, he shares that he's just checking in. So happy to have you all join us this evening. Well, family, let's get started. You know how quickly the hour goes, and I am anxious to have this conversation. Our first guest in this evening, she is a phenomenal woman. She is Arlene Wayns, and she is the broker owner of Reliance Realty, an independent minority owned full service real estate firm founded in 2003. She is a highly sought after real estate and housing executive with more than 25 consecutive years of experience. In 2018, she was elected as regional vice president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, representing the state of Pennsylvania, Delaware, and West Virginia. And she currently serves as the national chair of the mentorship program promoting equity and inclusion in the real estate industry. Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Arlene Wayns. Hi there, beautiful. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. It is a privilege, and I hope we're having a great evening.
So happy to have you join us, family. I had an offline conversation. I said, okay, I'm anxious to have this conversation because I have so many questions about the real estate industry, especially as it pertains to us. Just especially. So it's a pleasure to have you here. It's a privilege to have you here, quite honestly. Um, but I know there's so much to discuss. And family, I know you have questions too. I know you have questions and comments. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started first. If you wouldn't mind, Ms. Waynes, would you share with our family members just a little about you, from where you come, and some background about you?
Okay. I've been, thank you for the introduction. I've been
You're
in real
welcome.
estate business for over 25 years as a broker owner of Waynes Realty, a full service real estate firm offering residential, commercial investment, and development. During my journey in the real estate industry, I have been part of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is the oldest African American trade association in the country, promoting democracy in housing, fighting for equal and fair housing. The
Wow.
organization was started in 1957. I became the national, the local board president and regional vice president. And I have continued to advocate for fair and equal housing throughout the country, as well as in our community. Home ownership is the number one way to obtain and accumulate and transfer wealth in America. And it's important that we as Black people not relegate to renting and not purchasing. Our goal is to help our people to build generational wealth.
Wait, you know what? I want to interrupt for just one moment because we're having some technical issues with your audio. I'm receiving from the studio that your audio is not coming through with clarity.
Okay, well,
Excuse
I
me.
can go
I want to
ahead.
see if we can make any slight adjustments in this moment because we want to hear everything you have to share with us. Let's see if we can't make
Is
some
that
adjustments. Nick, will you help me and let me know if there's any more clarity than the moment before, please, as she's making adjustments. But in the meantime, because I missed some of what you just shared with us, and I was trying so desperately to understand it, but I didn't hear with clarity, and I want to make sure we don't miss anything. So would you start just once again for me, please, and repeat what you said? I hate to ask you to repeat, but just in an effort to make sure we have everything that you came to share with us. Would you mind telling us one more time, just a little more about
Oh
you?
no, not a problem. Hopefully you can hear.
Okay. Nick, let me know if it sounds any better,
I
please.
again I we mentioned that
You
Reliance
oh,
Realty is a full service real estate firm located in Philadelphia, and we serve Philadelphia, Montgomery, and Delaware County. We are a member of the Association of Real Estate Brokers, the oldest African American trade association in the country. 75 years we have been pushing for fair and equal housing, promoting democracy in housing. As African Americans or Blacks, we were not allowed to be a part of the National Association of Realtors. We were not admitted into the organization. Therefore, we
mhm.
formed our organization and we were known as realtors.
Did you
Today,
say
we can you hear me? Is that better?
yes? You said it's slightly better. You said today.
Yes. Today, we continue promoting democracy housing, housing. We are removing the barriers to home ownership. The home ownership rate in our country today is approximately 41%, and that was the rate in 1968 when the Fair Housing Act of 1968 was passed and signed by Lyndon Johnson.
Did you say it's the same rate from 1968?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow. That's so discouraging. Wow. Oh.
yes, yes.
So So okay, what can we do? What do we do? How do we navigate this?
Well, we have to advocate, educate, and elevate our people. Home ownership is the number one way to obtain wealth in our country, and generational wealth. The gap in generational wealth between blacks and white is very vast. We need
Hmm.
to change that. And in order to change that, we need to concentrate on investing, buying, and looking at real estate as a means to build wealth in our community. The problem is there's been some barriers to prevent us from obtaining wealth through real estate.
Hmm. Hmm.
And many, uh, one of the things that we look at is we have a report called a shoot report. Once a year, that report is called the State of Housing in Black America. All of the
Okay.
realtors have access to that report, look at the data, and we look at the problems that we face and we try to address them. The barriers that prevent us from obtaining home ownership.
What is
So
the name of this report? What's the name of the report again?
The Sheba report.
Oh, the Shiva report. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And
And
this
it's
is that
accessible
only
to
available
anyone
to
who wants to
realtors?
go
That's
on.
what I was about to ask.
Pardon me?
I, you just answered the
It's
question. I was
accessible to
asking at the
anyone
same time you were saying it.
So in that report, we found some barriers. We looked at some of the barriers to home ownership. And I know that we talked about are that people ask about modern day redlining.
Hmm.
If you are familiar with that word, you know that in the 1930s, probably up to the 1960s, our government actually created redlining by actually drawing lines around certain communities and areas where they would not invest, particularly communities of color. And that was outlawed or illegal as a result of the Fair Housing Act in 1968. So the question is, how come we have not seen a greater increase in home ownership?
Exactly.
And
That's I'm
why? It's because we see systemic racism. That's what we've seen, systemic racism in the mortgage industry, the banking and mortgage industry. So we want to
so
remove those barriers.
how do we do that?
Legislation, we've got to talk with our political elected officers. We've got to vote. We
Mm,
have to
mm,
really go out and vote because we need to make some changes in the system. The Most people are aware that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they are the underwriters of most of the financing in this industry, but they have a set rules, I would say, a process that is
mm-hmm,
different for whites than it is black. There
mm,
are fees that we pay as a result of their determination that we are high risk. So, as you may be aware, there are credits. The algorithm is
mm-hmm,
three credit reports that are
mm-hmm,
created to
mm-hmm,
determine who you are, how well you pay bills.
mm-hmm.
Those three credit reports are reviewed by the mortgage company, or anytime you make a mortgage application. The blacks and brown people who and Latinos have been denied mortgages more often than whites, and it is related to their credit scores, their savings, and their debt.
Mm, mm,
If they are granted a mortgage, they pay a higher fee. Some call it the black tax. It's a high risk. It's just that these mortgage companies are saying, well, they're at higher risk, so they're going to pay
mm-hmm,
more.
Mm-hmm.
which is totally unfair, but it's not illegal. They can operate. And so it's like pulling apart an onion. Let's find out what is going on, why we are continually being denied loans for mortgages.
So, I have a question about, and I'm sorry to have interjected, but just before we go to commercial break, I have a question about the Fair Housing Act. Family, for those of you who have just joined us, I should say, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD with Carol Riddick. We are joined in this hour with Arlene Wayns, and she's talking with us about the racial housing discrimination and disparities that exist in today's real estate market. We are going to take just a short commercial break. I know you want to join this conversation. I know you do. So know that the phone lines are open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. When we come back, I'm going to go to our socials, and I'm also going to ask the question that I have about the Fair Housing Act. So stay with us because we are coming right back.
Join us for the Level Up Pitch Party and Networking Mixer, Tuesday, April 2nd at the Fittler Club, celebrating Women's History Month in partnership with WVON Chicago and KJLH Los Angeles. We are highlighting Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in our communities. Come out and cheer on your favorite business as the 5 finalists vie for a chance to win the grand prize valued at $5,000. And while you're there, meet and greet the judges and others from various business sectors throughout the city. Visit wordradio.com/level up and RSVP to the event. Level Up 2024 is brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, and Bank of America.
For more than a decade, Comcast has been committed to bridging the digital divide in Philadelphia and across the country. From connecting people to the internet to opening doors for the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and storytellers, they are helping to create a future that benefits generations to come. Now, Comcast is expanding their efforts through Project Up, their comprehensive initiative to help build a future of unlimited possibilities. Backed by a $1 billion commitment to reach tens of millions of people over the next decade, Comcast is working to ensure all Philadelphians have the skills, resources, and opportunities they need to participate and excel in an increasingly digital world. This includes partnering with community experts to build a network of digital navigators, trusted individuals who help build awareness around initiatives like the government's Affordable Connectivity Program, and teach critical digital skills to get more people online. Project Up, building a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/Project Up. Through Project Up, Comcast is committing $1 billion to build a future of unlimited possibilities.
At YMCA Summer Camp, kids find their why. Friendship and fun, a world of adventure beneath a golden sun. Running, laughing, full of wonder, being themselves is second nature. Summer camp is where they begin to unlock the confidence that lies within. When kids find new passions, they find their why. Summer camp season starts soon. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or a friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. We are back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking in this hour with Arlene Wayns, and we are talking about real estate, specifically the racial housing discrimination that exists in today's market. Just before the commercial break, I did share that I have a question, but I also shared that I was going to go to our socials to see what you were saying. So I'm going to share that first. Don is checking in. Hi there, Don. Don Reddy, that is. Nasir, brother Nasir Butler, he's checking in and he's sending peace and blessings to everybody. And you know, we receive them. We're sending them right back to you as well. Eric shares, good evening, Ms. Waynes. Welcome to the Word platform. I think it's very important that young people think about investing in a home at a young age. If I knew 20 years ago what I know now about being a homeowner, I could have bought 3 homes. Credit and credit score are definitely a key factor. You're absolutely right, Eric. You're so right. Alfred is checking in. Hi there, Alfred. He's sending a good evening to the entire family, but he has a question. He shares, if redlining has been found illegal by the Fair Housing Act, can the bank and mortgage companies be sued for sending mortgages? Lastly, can we start teaching the process of purchasing homes in our high schools, especially in the senior years? I wish. Oh my goodness, I wish we could. But that question, I believe, was a question that he has for you. If redlining has been found illegal by the Fair Housing Act, can the banks and mortgage companies be sued?
Yes, that's a very good question. And yes, the banks have been sued. During the Obama administration, they sued 9 financial institutions for discrimination in mortgage application denial and process. There were funds allocated to other banks to help people who lived in the areas where the discrimination had occurred, like Philadelphia, New Jersey, and parts of Delaware. And, and there was an opportunity to help people to obtain mortgages and housing after that lawsuit. So, yes, it was, and it is possible. Now, during the Trump administration, there was not one lawsuit for racial discrimination. In fact, there was an amendment, there was an attempt to amend the Fair Housing Act to make it more difficult to prove racial discrimination in that housing arena. And in terms of educating young people, particularly in the schools, I totally agree. We are looking at providing education. The younger generation needs to be informed about buying housing, I think, from probably middle school and high school, but it should be a part of a curriculum. We are looking at mentoring those who are interested in going into real estate and learning more about real estate. So yes, I agree. We need to present this in all of the high schools.
Seriously, you know, I'm in total agreement with that. I know some adults that still need education on home ownership and how to buy a house. Our communities, we're just not well educated in that arena. I would love for there to be programming instituted in our schools, but I would so love for us as well, to gain to gain a better education. It really does pain me. And you know, when you were talking about that, and Alfred, thank you for that, for saying that. It's about teaching our young adults about purchasing homes, because I think about the young adults that I know, and more of them than not are not homeowners. They're not homeowners. They're not even, but it's not even on their radar. They're not even thinking about home ownership, which saddens me. It is so unfortunate. It saddens me. It really does. I do want to share. I'm sorry.
I think they have a fear. They've seen the downturn in the housing and mortgage industry, and I think, well, we do know that that's part of the problem.
So they're fearful.
They've seen during the pandemic foreclosure rates go up, and they've seen people lose their homes, unemployment rate changing. So that I think we know that there is some fear in our community in regard to people buying, renting as opposed to buying.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Oh, that pains me. So when you were sharing earlier about the Fair Housing Act, the question that came to me was that, okay, I realized that some issues were addressed, but how is it that if this act was created and put in effect, how is it that the percentage is the same today as it was in 1968? What actually did it change?
Well, that's interesting to us, and that's why we continue to look at this. Why hasn't it changed? It is going. In some incidents, we've seen an increase in home ownership, but the gap, the ratio between the whites and the black is about 72% home ownership among whites, and then is that gap of 41% among blacks. There's been a problem with systemic racism in the mortgage industry. Our
Mm,
federal government has created these types of barriers that keep us from being able to obtain that American dream. It is quite obvious to us now. It is not the same as redlining was in the 30s and 40s, but
mhm,
it is a difference in terms of, as I mentioned, the credit the credit model and the high risk factor that you are charged or we are charged. We must pay
mhm.
that fee because we're considered high risk. Now we've had more challenges.
Okay. You were talking about the lawsuits that were filed. I believe it was Alfred who had asked about the companies being sued, and you said there were some lawsuits being filed. Do we know the statistics on the lawsuits, the favorable outcomes, as opposed to the non-favorable outcomes of those lawsuits?
You know, I that is a very good question because we love to see the data. I know there
Hmm.
was an effort to make a difference in those communities, and I can personally say that I had an opportunity to work with one of the banks that have received the funds to address those issues in our community,
Okay.
and it was an opportunity to buy a property with at least $15,000 in down payment assistance. That's another barrier that we have, not having the monies saved to purchase. But now we're looking at a lot of programs. I don't want to discourage anyone. We had the first front door, we had down payment assistance, but those programs provided those funding.
Hmm.
And the those who qualified had to meet certain criteria and they had to select certain areas.
Okay. Okay. You know what? We did, as you speak of the programs that are available, we had a guest the other day and she spoke. She came on briefly, family, if you will recall, and she shared with us uh, Latrice. She was just the recipient of the $15,000 allowance as a
Hmm.
result of a program that President Biden started to fund those
Hmm.
first time homeowners. I believe it was. Yes, because it was her first time buying a home. I do want to share, our family members are talking. Do want you to know that I do see you. I do. Heather is joining us and she's sending love, as is our beloved Miss Rosalind, Heather Wilson and Rosalind Allen. I want to be clear. Eric shares it should be taught in junior and senior years to prepare them before they leave high school and prior to entering a university or college. I agree with that. I agree with that. I strongly agree with that. Harry Wins is joining us. Hey there, Harry. Tony shares, hey there, Tony. It's been a while. Thank you for joining us, Tony Brown. That is, he shares Black people are overtaxed and underpaid in America. Nothing new, and Black people still love this racist government in America. I don't know that anybody loves it, Tony. I'll say that.
Hmm.
I don't know that anybody loves it, but I do believe there is fear and there's a lack of education. Like I was sharing, a lot of our good and grown adults are not really well versed on the real estate market in order to educate the younger ones. So I believe it's a lack of knowledge and it's a lack of research because it's out there. Alfred shares fear comes greatly from here we are from a lack of knowledge. We're saying the same
Hmm.
thing, and it is understandable And we as adults with knowledge, again, should be educating the youth. Alfred, I promise you, we're saying the same thing. You hear that? You hear that? And he
Yes,
follows
this
that with
is.
saying, I agree, systemic racism is definitely a problem, and legislators should be addressing the issues that perpetuate systemic racism in the housing market. Yeah. And Malcolm shares to Tony, no, we don't love it. We don't, to your comment. We don't love it. But no, you're absolutely right. When we talk about this, it keeps repeating to me that the percentage is the same today as it was in 1968. That says so much more about us. That what are we doing? I see what we're not doing, but what are we doing?
Well, we are, well, in our organization, and Black realtors are trying to address this situation. We are looking to try to increase them. In fact, it is, I mean, we're going to move forward with this. We're going to educate and advocate for our people. We have to help millennials, Gen X to understand they have the resources, but they won't step into the market. We looking at young people have income maybe 60, 70, 80,000 a year and still will not buy. And it is the best way to to gain wealth. So we need to have this conversation, not only in the schools, but you need to have them at home at the dinner table, around the kitchen table. You need to have those conversations with the family. Not only looking at buying a home, but looking at how do we sustainability and maintain a generational wealth. We have so many families that are losing their homes that were in the family for many, many years, and someone doesn't know where the deed, they don't know where the other family members were that would have inherited that home. So it is it's definitely a concern in our community. Probate wills, as well as on the other end, millennials not wanting to buy but rent.
So at Reliance Realty, do you help with that? With those situations that you just mentioned about
Yes,
with family members not being able to locate these or what do they call it? The tangled titles and things of that nature?
yes, you got that right. The tangled title.
Title.
Yes, we do. We do help with that. We sometimes we just have to help them find out how to resolve those issues so that they can um, regain the properties and the
Yes.
equities in their home. We're really, really concerned about that. So we have attorneys that work with us. We have title companies as well as bankers and mortgages. However, we find that the parents of the parent,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, you see a lot.
Oh, we lost your audio. Wait, we lost your audio. Oh, there you are.
We lost
No,
audio.
wait a minute. There we go. Now I can hear
Okay,
you again. You said the
so
parents
now
of the
you can,
parents. Yes.
yes. Yeah, we see a lot of that, the parents of the parents, and they're not sure of the lineage and how to pass on that property.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That I hear so often. I know of at least 3 families who are having that discussion right now. At least 3 families. I don't know what it is
Mhm.
with us. We that I don't know why we do that. Eric shares, Eric, where was that? Eric shares the average 1-bedroom apartment is a minimum of $900. That amount
That's
times
correct.
12 months is $10,800. You multiply that by 2 years, and that's $21,600. That's your beginning closing cost for a home mortgage. It's a financial start to
Yes.
ownership and independence. That right there is a whole word. It truly is. Smitty is joining us. Hey there, Smitty, Mr. and Mrs. Smitty. Glad to see you joining us. And so you were sharing, Ms. Waynes, that you are educating us. I want to say thank you for that, first of all, because we need it. So are we able, do you have, I should say like educational events set up, or do you have like
Oh, yes, we do. In fact, our I think in April we call Religious Week. We'll be in the churches or in the community. So I would welcome anyone to just reach out to us to find out where we may have various events. We do have home buyer seminars. We also have an initiative called WIRE. WIRE is Women Investing in Real Estate. Women, particularly Black women, have been really pushed back out of this arena of real estate investment and building wealth. And we're now preparing women to be more prepared and ready to do that. And we've had some great, great stories to tell. We have members in our office that have done very well with investing and not flipping, but holding on and then selling their properties. And now I'm, ready for retirement. But it's looking at passive income. These are the kinds of things that we need to be teaching our people. Because it is definitely the road to wealth.
It truly is. We talk about generational wealth all the time. It truly is the road to wealth. Family, hey there. We're going to take just a short commercial break, but stay with us because we are coming right back.
This is Ashanti Martin, General Manager of Word Radio, and I'm here to share some important information for 2024 voters. Pennsylvania's primary election takes place April 23rd. In primary elections, members of a political party choose who they want to run for office during the November general election. You must be registered to a specific party in order to vote in the Pennsylvania primary election. This year's primary features competitive state-level races, including the Attorney General. So while all eyes and ears are on November, it's important for you to make your voice heard this April as well. Now is the time to check your voter and party registration status. The last day to register to be eligible to vote in the primary is April 8th. For information on how to do this, go to wordradio.com/2024 vote. This is your word on democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters.
This vignette was brought to you by AARP.
We gathered real Pennsylvania seniors and asked them how they would benefit from an extra $1,000. Here's what they had to say.
Everything is so expensive these days.
Car expenses, repairs.
My groceries, heating costs.
Medications. Sure, I could easily spend $1,000 like that.
Through Pennsylvania's property tax rent rebate program, eligible seniors and adults with disabilities could receive up to $1,000. Check your eligibility and apply online. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with patent irritation defense bar and skin care regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Stay connected on the go with the new and improved Word Radio app. Search Word Radio in your app store. Stream every show with increased clarity. Easily access Word TV, EcoWord, and Livelihood. Start or renew your 4-Word membership and buy Word swag. Remember, Black Media Matters. Get the new and improved Word Radio app today. Available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. We are back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Arlene Wayns in this hour, and we are talking about racial housing discrimination. This conversation, first I have to say, just thank you again for coming. Like I said, I had a ton of questions to ask you, and we were having some audio difficulties in the beginning. So I'm going to ask that you please come back and visit with us sooner as opposed to later.
Of course. Of course, yes. It's a very important topic. I'll be happy to do that for you.
You know, one thing I've always wondered is about how the houses are priced. How is that determined? How are the houses? How is the pricing of the houses in the different areas determined?
Well, the housing prices in every city, different areas, well, the value, let's just make it clear that real estate increases in value. That's why it's such a good investment. It's always going to appreciate in value. It may be 2, 3, or 5% a year, depending on the location, condition of the property. I know there's a concern about the appraisal bias as well in our community, but it's really it's worth it for you to invest in real estate. Then look at the value. Let's say most of the families that we've talked to now and who've been in their homes for 10 or 20 years, they may have seen a 50% increase in the value of the home from the time that they purchased a home. And that's very good in Philadelphia, in our area. So the value of in real estate does appreciate, and it does the idea that we have racial appraisal bias is a concern. It is a concern. But what we are doing in our office and in our associate, we're challenging everything. We're just not laying down and taking everything. So we want to look at the value very carefully, because when an appraiser and a certified appraiser looks at your property, they're going to take into consideration the market value, the condition, and the location. As we know, location is the key to value, of course. And so that's going to determining factor of the value and the condition and the economy, the economics in terms of how money is flowing in the economy. We know now that inventory is low, so prices are high. Prices are high. So the example that your last caller gave was excellent. When you take a look at the amount of money invested into renting, yes, he could buy a couple of properties. But it's nothing, you're not gaining any equity. So value is really based on the first 3 factors that I've mentioned: is location, condition, and value.
So I would love for our family members to know how to contact you. So would you share with us how our family members can find you, where we can find you, and how we can contact you?
Yes. Well, you can. We do have a website, Reliance Realty LLC.com. You can always voice text today. It's our office number is 215-884-4006.
Could you repeat the number for me one more time, please?
215-884-4006.
Okay. Family, for those of you who are watching us on socials, I just put the website in the chat, and I'm about to add the telephone number so that you can contact Reliance Realty. All right. I do see some more comments. You were sharing that in April, you do have some events coming up where we can find out additional information and we can be educated on what's happening in the market today and about other things. Would you mind sharing that information with us again, please?
Yes, in the month of April, it's Realtors Week nationwide, throughout the entire nation. So I will bring more information to you about our Building Black Wealth Tour. It is going over 48 states in the Building Black Wealth Tour. We'll also be talking about building careers in real estate. And we will be offering home buyers education on credit as well as investing. So in Philadelphia, there is going to be a session at I think either the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ
Right. Okay.
on Shelton Avenue, Shelton and Sprague on that Saturday, the 13th. There's going to be another event in Delaware. One of the tours, the Wealth Tour, will be in Delaware, probably leaving in Wilmington, giving an opportunity to tour the area to see how to invest in real estate in that area. There will also be some events in New Jersey, and I will send it to you for all the locales in our area so you can take advantage of that. There will also be events that will be live streamed nationwide.
And will all of this also be listed on your website? On the Reliance
Yes.
Realty website? Okay. We have one of our family members has a question. Heather is asking, our beloved Heather Wilson is asking, she said, I've had this question for years. Is there a price difference when living across or buying across from a burial ground?
That's a good question. I think it depends on it depends on the individual. Some people prefer, some people not. I've heard someone say, I've had some people say, well, I like it because there's no destruction, there's no abandonment across from a institution, a school, or burial ground, but it depends. I don't think it affects the value. It really depends on the neighborhood, and it depends on the people who live in the area. Like, for instance, there's, not the burial grounds in Philadelphia, and there are quite a few. So there are properties that are around Philadelphia that are near burial grounds. So it really depends on the neighborhood.
Thank you for that. We do have another comment. Eric shares, young and old, it's important to ask questions. Go to tutorials and lectures in your city. Check out sheriff sales and short sales. Contact a professional like Ms. Arlene Wayns. Knowledge is definitely power. I'm in agreement with you there, Eric. I am in agreement. I have to say once again, just thank you for coming to visit with us. I'm terribly sorry that we had, such technical difficulties in the beginning. But again, we would love to have you come. And I mean this sooner as opposed to later, so that we can, dig deeply into these, because there's so much. There's so much.
Yes.
In the world of realty, there is so much.
Yes, and we're going to, I would welcome the opportunity, but we need to continue to push forward on this initiative in our community. It's real important. We are lagging, and I don't like to, we don't like that word, but it is true. It's a true, it's a fact that we are lagging in this area, in this country, and we need to make a change.
You hear that, family? We need to make a change. We just heard that from the one and only Arlene Wayns. She said, get it together. That's what she said, basically. That's what she said. And she said she's here to help us to do just that, to get it together. She's here to give us all the information and the education that we need. Family, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome once again. Welcome. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. In just a moment, we're going to take just a short commercial break. And you know what we do in the second hour on Tuesdays. We talk with our sports guru. So we have that coming up, the one and only Chris Murray. Our family members are saying thank you. Thank you. Eric is saying thank you so much, Ms. Waynes, for your knowledge. Please
You're quite welcome.
Alfred, sharing this is great information. Thank you so much. So much. We have one other question. Oh, it's my cousin. Hi, Rose. Rose Riddick. She's asking, I have a new home being built next door to me. Will my taxes go up? She shares, I've been living here for 30 years.
Rose, it probably will. Yes, it maybe not right away, but yes, that's an improvement. And if there's an improvement of the building in your community, that's another topic I guess we'll talk about, because you see that in Philadelphia, new development, and it's a concern. Some people associate that with gentrification, but if it's a new development, the value of that property will certainly have an effect on your property, and hopefully a positive.
So does it have to be a development, or is that the same as a home, just one single home being built? is that the same thing?
Well, if it's a single family home, if you're talking about a vacant lot where someone, which we see a lot of in Philadelphia, houses were torn down, and then you see a developer come in and building a house in that vacant lot. It probably, yes, if it depends on the value. See, that new development may be valued 2-3 times more than the house is built next to. So yes, you can look to see properties increase and the values increase. So I would pay very close attention to the tax records and assessments that you get yearly. You'll see a change probably by next year.
Okay. Well, thank you once again, family. It's time for us to take a commercial break and to say goodnight to Ms. Wayns, to say thank you and good night for coming. We cannot wait for you to come back. Family, stay with us because...
And thank you.
Thank you. After this commercial break, we will be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Evening Words.
Miss Pamela J. Rich Wheeler. Miss Rich Wheeler is the founder and executive director at the Business Center for Entrepreneurship and Social Enterprise. Miss Rich Wheeler is a progressive executive focused on building lasting relationships and making a strong impact in our communities. If this is your first time on the roundtable, I would love for you to just talk to us a little bit about what you've been seeing over the course of the year in terms of the backlash against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the United States.
Well, Dr. Peterson, I would say because our focus is entrepreneurship, the one that really strikes a chord with me is the Fearless Fund, which was actually founded or funded, I should say, by JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and MasterCard, their specific Strivers Grant program. And it was designed to help Black women-owned businesses that had the desire to receive venture capital.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Evening Words on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Step into a world of rejuvenation and discovery. Join us at the Philadelphia Senior Expo at the Pennsylvania Convention Center on April 11th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your free ticket on Eventbrite by searching Philadelphia Senior Expo. Embrace the blooming season with a day tailored exclusively for our cherished seniors. Celebrate the day with vibrant activities, exercise routine, dancing, giveaways, and health discussions with medical doctors. Don't miss out. Get your free ticket on Eventbrite.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. Loveyourmindtoday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent job openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for several exciting roles, including youth case managers, a behavioral health coordinator, and a part-time youth ally. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by Word Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
We are the home of Progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I want to make sure, family, that you have the information that you need so that you can contact our beloved Arlene Wayns. For those of you who did not, who were not able to hear when the website was shared, I'm going to share it again. It is www.reliancerealtyllc.com. Make sure you write that down. And the telephone number for those who missed that is 215-884-4006. I had to make sure I shared that with you. I did ask Ms. Waynes to come back sooner as opposed to later, because if you were here with us in the beginning of the show, you could hear that we were having some technical difficulties. And I want to make sure, family, that we get all the necessary information. We need all of that information so that we can be educated and so that we can also share the education. We can share the knowledge. You know, we don't want to have that. This little light thing is irritating the crap out of me. I'm sharing my own moment. So here we are in the second hour. As you know, on Tuesdays, what we do is we talk to the guru of himself. For those of you who are unaware, Chris Murray is that guru. He is a radio personality, a journalist, and college professor with more than 30 years of experience. He's covered the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NCAA tournament, the NBA playoffs, and World Championship boxings, as well as other sporting events. Currently, he hosts his own sports show Saturdays right here on WURD, the Chris Murray Report. And as our resident sports oracle, he's agreed to visit with the Love and Life family on Tuesdays. So, family, without further ado, I welcome you to the conversation with none other than Chris Murray.
How y'all doing tonight, man? How's everybody doing? I'm glad to be here. I'm doing okay. I'm just I had to stop I'm in Baltimore right now with my mom, and so I'm just here, and I figure I couldn't get home in time, so let me just stay here and just kind of hang out and do the show, hang out here and do the show with you guys.
Well, you know, we're always happy to have you join us, and we're grateful that you were not affected. Well, I don't know that you were. I'm going to say, because we're looking at you personally, were not affected by the tragedy that just occurred. But that is horrible. It's horrible.
You know, I was driving down, like when you get to like 895 and the Harbor Tunnel, you can kind of see all the other bridges, all the other little pass to the Fort McHenry Tunnel. I was coming through the Harbor Tunnel, and I glanced over where the bridge was, where the where the Key Bridge was. It reminded me of looking at a scene from 9/11, because that bridge was just halfway broken off. And I was shocked this morning because, you know, I woke up last night. I just wanted to get some water, and, you know, I checked my phone, and it said breaking news: the Key Bridge collapsed. I was like, whoa, because I was thinking that was going to affect my ride in, because, and I'm going to tell you, I've taken that bridge when the Harbor Tunnel, you know, area was like under serious construction, and sometimes traffic was, so I sometimes use that just so that I can keep traffic moving. And that bridge is something. I'm shocked that bridge was that fragile, and thank God I wasn't on that thing last night. I mean,
praise God.
You know, it's just it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy, and I just, you know, I pray for all the families that were caught up in that situation and all that, because and I've always had this phobia driving on certain bridges anyway. Like I used to drive up on the Tappan Zee Bridge up in the New York, New Jersey area.
Oh yeah.
That bridge scares me. And and it's also a reminder, I think I'm gonna learn how to swim, and I think I'm gonna keep a life jacket in my car.
There you have it. There you have it. But you know, listen, in a time of panic, because I mean, how much you're driving along, how much preparation time do you have? And you know what I mean? The next thing you know, you're falling.
You're
falling. So that is just Just the thought alone,
Yeah,
the thought
yeah.
alone, and I read today, there was a woman who typed on social media. She said she takes that bridge regularly, and she said there was something in her spirit. It just said no. So she did not take it yesterday. She said she would have been on the bridge. So during that time, she would have been on the bridge at that time. So we are definitely praying for those who have been affected directly by that tragedy, who've been affected at all. Period. I shouldn't say that. Who've been affected at all by that tragedy. I want to say that. Definitely want to say that. So, Chris, I know last week I had you sidetracked. We were talking about all kinds of things, nothing associated with the sports arena. So I won't do that to you today. We welcome you. We welcome you.
I hope I didn't get any nasty letters from anybody out there.
Last week was fun. I don't know what you're talking about. I
had fun too. I mean, I had a whole lot of fun, and doing that and talking about relationships. I could, because I had my own unique experiences with relationships, and I'm happy with the one I got right now. And
I know that's right. I know that's right.
So
Chris said, I'm happy with the one I got. I know that's right. I know that's right. You better love up on her. You hear me?
Absolutely.
So, okay, what will we talk about this week? I have some questions about some things, but what will you share with us? What will you share to break the ice?
Well, I'm concerned about the Sixers, because I got to call my man Keith Pompey, because last year we were all bashing James Harden for what he did in the playoffs, but during the regular season, he with Embiid out, he did carry them, and I thought Keith made a pretty good point. The Sixers, Maxey can't do it by himself. I mean, last night he started out hot, but he just can't do it by himself, and they need other guys, and we don't know. Now we're at supposedly early April. Next Monday is April 1st, and then there's the countdown to whether or not Joel Embiid is going to come back, and they need him. I mean, the thing that breaks my heart about this is that the Sixers were on that. I mean, Embiid was on that trajectory to be the MVP of the league, and it's hard. It reminds me, good Lord, I'm trying to hesitate to bringing up sports history and all that. It reminds me of a long time ago, back in the 1960s, where the Baltimore Colts lost their starting quarterback Johnny Unitas. They lost their backup quarterback. Then they had to play a running back in his place, and they somehow made it to the playoffs. But and I'm looking at the Sixers, and it kind of reminds me. But certain guys have people have been complaining about Tobias Harris, and I understand that complaint. I mean, somebody's got to step up other than Maxey. And Buddy Hield, I think, has been a bit of a disappointment. And it's like, I know he's trying to find his flow and find his way into that offense. Every time I'm seeing him, I'm just like, man, what is this guy? I thought this guy was going to be that other shooter, and that's not the case. And so the team is just now they're barely in a playing game, and they've got to figure it out somehow. And although one expert said that if the Sixers got back a fully healthy, Embiid, I don't know how much shape he's going to be in, but the Sixers may not want to be that team that anyone wants to face in the playoffs. But I don't know if that, I still think that if Embiid comes back, I don't think it makes much of a difference because he's been out of the rhythm of the season. I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. And, we're still having this issue every year with Joel Embiid. It's something. This year is a long-term injury. Last year it's always something with this guy. And I think that a lot of fans are a bit frustrated with this because, I've heard people talk about, well, we got to trade him while the getting is good or something like that. I mean, I still want to see him, take the team to an NBA's finals. We haven't had an NBA finals in Philadelphia since 1983.
How
We
about
haven't
that?
had the. I mean, we haven't had the. I mean, we haven't won one. I mean, we've had the Allen Iverson years. Let me correct myself there. But
I knew what you meant.
I'm a long time. I was a Sixers fan growing up here in Baltimore and whatnot, and I love Dr. J. And I still remember 40-something years ago on my couch when Dr. J took the ball, took a jump shot and slammed and did something. And I said to myself, man, I smell that championship. I remember being so happy they won that, and I feel bad now because, again, it's this injury thing. And now they may not even get past the first round, much less the second round. And, I think that, at some point they probably, I guess I'm going to call this a shutdown year. Just come back next year. If they get to the playoffs, you get eliminated. Okay, go home, retool, get some guys together, make sure everybody's healthy and make sure everybody is back playing together and on the same page. I think Nick Nurse is a good coach that when that team is fully together, he has them cutting to the basket and playing together, but they got to figure out a way to get it done now. But I'm not so optimistic about that at all.
Well, you're not alone, Chris. You're absolutely not alone. I haven't really been, and I am so sorry for this, but I haven't really been keeping up with how Embiid's health is. Do we know how he's doing, how his healing process is coming along? I know they're talking about him returning, but I haven't really looked to see what they're saying about what kind of shape he's in.
Because, I haven't really looked at his healing process, but everybody, but he has been at practice. From what I understand, he's at practice, so I don't know what their timetable is for bringing him back at this point. But I'm certainly looking to find that out. But my concern is he may come back and he may be healthy, but at the end of the day, he has to be in basketball shape. That's the one thing.
Absolutely.
You can be back healthy, but if you're not in basketball shape, if you've been out, you've been out sick or something like that. I mean, I know from playing sports, I remember one time in high school, I got sick for about a couple of weeks and trying to run again. I mean, I was healthy, but, just trying to run, I just wasn't there,
Ooh,
and
I
so
can only imagine.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's one of those things where, and I think in any endeavor, you got to be 100%. And see, I'm thinking like this, I think the Sixers, should continue to go get guys, find guys who can fit, shut it down for this season. Don't do like the process. Still try hard to win and play, but really start to look to next season because I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs. I hope they prove me wrong when I say that. I'm hoping that they will that they prove me wrong, but
we all do. I do want to share our beloved Rosalind. She shares, welcome, Chris Murray. Always an honor and a privilege. Here are your flowers. We love you unconditionally. Just keep it coming.
That is so nice. That is so nice.
See that? We love you here on Love and Life. See that? See that? And Eric shares, hey there, Master Murray, sports author extraordinaire of First Draft.
By the
Welcome back.
By the way, I ordered the books the other day. They are coming soon. And I just gotta I'm gonna be working with my people and whatnot to see if I kind of want to do a little bit of a thing in Philadelphia because this is where because Philly,
we've only been asking. We've only been asking, Master Murray. We've only been asking.
I know. I mean, and the thing is, I'm excited to do it, but it's just the fact that in these last couple of months, I have been, it's a wonder I'm still awake. It's a wonder. It's a wonder that I'm awake today, and I'm not saying awake as in it's just I'm tired. When I'm on a cycle where I'm running up and down. I'm up and down 95 between Bowie, Maryland, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Delaware, and just kind of just run around. I mean, like last week was my spring break, but the only fun thing I did during my spring break, I went to my local cigar bar around the corner and just sat back and
That was
I mean,
well, you know what? I mean, if that's what listen, that
I
made
was
you
just
happy.
tired most of the week. I was just like,
Ah.
I came home like Saturday. Saturday. First of all, the wind was so bad, the rain and the wind. After I did my show, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and crash. My wife was in Boston giving a presentation at Boston University on empathy and journalism, and she was, I kind of missed her, but I was just like, man, I don't feel like doing any. I watched a ton of college basketball. I'll put it that way.
Well, you know what? We have to be brought up to speed. We haven't been brought up to speed on. We have not talked. I was about to say we didn't talk about. We haven't talked about college basketball at all because we've been talking about other things. But I do want to continue this because our family members are commenting. Brandon shares that you and he both are concerned for the Sixers. Like you said, Maxey cannot be the only electricity in the socket. There have to be other components. So there's another comment on that. He also shares injury-prone basketball is not communicative basketball. How about that? How about that? So
not communicative I'm gonna have to steal that line. I'm gonna steal that line. But
you hear that, Brandon?
But when you have injuries, and injuries you really can't control. You like to say that you can control injuries. Injuries can mess up seasons. Injuries
absolutely.
can mess up seasons. I mean, we all complained about, Jalen Hurts was hurt all throughout the season, was not 100%. And so when you're not 100%, it just takes away from what you really can do. And people want, and this would have been another MVP year for Joel Embiid. This would have been another year of just dominance. And I think had he been with this team, if he's with this team now, we're talking about the playoffs. We're talking about being a contender with Boston and Milwaukee. And I think when he was there, they were capable of beating those teams. But, at the end of the day, man, injuries happen.
This is true.
Injuries are going to happen. It's just that it's unfortunate. And the thing about it, but for Philly fans, it's a little frustrating because Joel Embiid has been injury prone since
since day one.
Since day one.
Day one. I've said that. I've always said that since day one. So I really want to know what kind of shape he's in, how his recovery process is going, and what kind of shape he's going to be in when he returns. So I'm not feeling as hopeful just yet. Rose, my cousin, she has a question. She shares, not to go off track, go Philly Sixers, but what about the young lady Aldi Crooks, Iowa State freshman? She's a big girl, but she's a good player. Do you think she should lose some weight to show her true potential? She's 6'3". She's got to be a good 275 pounds.
I saw her, and they basically they eliminated my other school, the University of Maryland, and so she should. I mean, you can never go wrong with losing weight. I like to, I feel like I could lose a few pounds myself. I just
I know I could.
From the hand.
Keep my mouth shut.
But see, the thing is, Carol, you look great in my opinion.
Oh, well, God bless you for that.
I mean, you look great to me. So
thank you.
But from that standpoint, to be a better athlete, to be better at anything, we all could lose a few pounds. I mean, maybe if I lose a few pounds, I can, maybe I'll have more energy to do certain things. We can all lose weight, and I think that she could too. And I think she could be a great WNBA player. I mean, she could be the female equivalent of Charles Barkley and whatnot, because Barkley kind of came into the league, and although Barkley he's retired now, but in sports you gotta be in shape. You have to be. It may work out at the collegiate level, but at the pros, I mean, everybody's supremely conditioned. They all work out. And even the 12th man, I always say even the 12th man or 12th woman is better than most people.
Well, I think Rose is saying she may not have fully reached her true potential because of the weight that she has. Alfred shares game shape. It's all about game shape. David, hey there, one of our family members. He shares the Sixers are suffering from several bad moves. Several bad moves. And Alfred shares once again, you play to win the game. Malcolm shares, I agree, Chris. They got to shut it down for this year. The Sixers have got to shut it down this year. Ms. Rosalind shares, congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
Alfred says, it's good getting your sports analysis, Mr. Murray. Thank you for that. Yeah. Malcolm says, get Embiid healthy. Yeah, but how do we do that? He's always injured. Eric has a question. What are your thoughts on Tyson versus Paul? Oh my God.
I have none because I'm not going to watch it.
Me neither. I think it's buffoonery.
And there's some legitimate boxing that I think is going to take place the next couple of weeks. When Jake Paul fights, Mike Tyson's 100,000 years old and whatnot, and Mike Tyson is not the guy he was in the late 80s, early 90s when he was a destroyer. And, I think that, but people will watch it because it's Jake Paul, it's an internet fighter. And I guess, and that's basically an pox on boxing's house, because boxing, you got some good matches coming up. You got Gervonta Davis fighting Frank Martin sometime in June. You got Devin Haney fighting Ryan Garcia in Brooklyn in April. And Matt, that reminds me, I need to apply for credentials to that fight.
Please.
Yeah. So it's just, there is some good boxing out there, but the promoters do such a bad job. They're all snipey against each other, all snipey, and they're all trying to monopolize. And nobody, right now, boxing is no longer on networks like Showtime and HBO.
Right.
I think PBC is doing Amazon Prime, and I don't mind that, but it's just
Chris,
that
this seems like buffoonery, though. I'm sorry. This just seems like buffoonery at its best. Wait, I want to put a pin on this conversation so we can go to commercial break. Family, listen. Continue. I am enjoying your comments. Please continue to share them, but also know that the phone lines are open if you care to join the conversation in that way as well. Stay with us because we are coming right back.
Join us for the Level Up Pitch Party and Networking Mixer, Tuesday, April 2nd at the Fittler Club, celebrating Women's History Month in partnership with WVON Chicago and KJLH Los Angeles. We are highlighting Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in our communities. Come out and cheer on your favorite business as the 5 finalists vie for a chance to win the grand prize valued at $5,000. And while you're there, meet and greet the judges and others from various business sectors throughout the city. Visit wordradio.com/level up and RSVP to the event. Level Up 2024 is brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, and Bank of America.
Light heat grants through PGW are available, and 1 in 3 households in Philadelphia are eligible to receive up to a $1,000 grant to pay for their natural gas heating bill this winter. PGW has made it easier than ever to see if you're eligible and to apply. Simply text MONEY to 77037, call 215-235-1000, or visit pgworks.com/light heat. PGW, helping ease minds this winter.
We see the urgent threat of climate change every day. Tornadoes in Texas, droughts in Europe, typhoons in the Philippines. But what don't we see? How the climate crisis hits vulnerable people the hardest, women and girls. That's why CARE helps the world's most marginalized people build resiliency and fight for a more just and sustainable world. You can help. Learn more at care.org/climate.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4-Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a Forward member, sign up, family member, or friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your Forward membership today. Visit wordradio.com/forward or wordradio.com/membership.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And we are back. Welcome back, family. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We're talking with the one and only Chris Murray, our sports guru, in this hour, because that's what we do on Tuesdays. We talk with Chris and we get our sports update. Before the break, well, we were talking about a lot of things, but we left off talking about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. And I shared that I think it's buffoonery at its best. And I have no desire to see it, no plans to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
None. I want to share, though. I'm so sorry to interject that David, our beloved David Levy Bay, shares drafting Ben Simmons, drafting Markelle Fultz, and keeping Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, and then drafting McCall Bridges and trading him the same night. Just bad decisions. Talking about the 76ers.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I was ticked off that they traded Mikal Bridges on draft night because I watched him at Villanova and he was incredible. And, he was a good shooter. And I don't get that. I mean, he's a hometown guy. His mom was working for the Sixers. I mean, it's just.
The Sixers always do that.
Right. And it's just, and then they got, see, with the travesty of Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz, like, first of all, the Celtics saw the Sixers coming. The Celtics saw them coming. And, Markelle Fultz, now the Markelle Fultz with Ben Simmons, while everybody touted them as phenoms in college, they didn't win anything for their teams. Washington, was like sub 500 when Markelle Fultz was there. And Ben Simmons got his team into the Southeastern Conference tournament, and they were out in the first week. And then they didn't want to play in the NIT or anything like that. He just, he wasn't a winner, and that should have raised the red. And I hope, and anybody disagree with me or agree with me, that should have raised the red flag. Yeah. And I remember when it came to Markelle Fultz versus Jay, could have had Jason Tatum. And I remember my good friend from the Philadelphia Tribune, my old partner from the Tribune, Don Hunt, kept saying they need to get Jason Tatum. I mean, he was the one that was on it. And sure enough, they basically got bamboozled by Danny Ainge and the Celtics. They get Jason Tatum. The Celtics have blown up. Been to the NBA Finals a couple of times, haven't won, and Jason Tatum is one of the best. He's one of the top 5 best players in the NBA. And then the whole Jimmy Butler debacle. They should have kept Jimmy Butler, and I'm mad about that. They should have kept him because the guy was a dog. Heck, it went, and in that game when Toronto won on Kawhi Leonard's last shot, the Sixers were down. He brought them back. They almost won that game. He was a dog. He was a dog. DAWG and whatnot. He was that dude. He was that guy.
The Sixers always, Chris, in the history of the 76ers, they've always done that. They've always made bad decisions. They've always traded the wrong players. Always. That hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't. That's the thing I think that frustrates. If you're going to be frustrated with a team in this town. You can be frustrated with maybe the Eagles or the Phillies, although I think for the Phillies this year might be World Series or bust after 2 straight 90-win seasons. But the thing is that, the Sixers have been the process tanking games, revolving. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just they've been frustrating. Second round exits and all this other stuff. Get this talent. Brett Brown couldn't do it. Doc Rivers couldn't do it. It was always something, and they're always missing something. James Harden not showing up in game 6 and 7 of the playoffs last year. Joel Embiid chronically hurt.
Always.
I sense that there's a frustration. I'm frustrated, and I'm a fan.
Yes, we are all frustrated.
If I'm a fan, I'm frustrated because I'm like, it's how I sometimes feel about my hometown Baltimore Ravens when they don't do something. It's just you get to a point you hate being close, and this is why I do understand the pain of Philly sports fans. Is that sometimes front offices and coaches they come up with a lot of bad decisions. And it gets frustrating because it's like they always seem to be missing the one piece that could get you over. And it's hard to be at the door. It's hard to be at the 2.5 yard line and you fumble the ball away, or you do something stupid. You commit a bad penalty, or you have to, or you have a chance to take a lead in a basketball game and you just don't do it. It's just you come close. And it's almost like the late John Chaney once told me, is like working hard, playing defense and all that, and not scoring and not doing what you got to do. It's like working all day and making no money. We work hard, but we haven't gotten to where we wanted to be. And that's that's the frustration that I think that a lot of fans have. You got to get there. I mean, you got to get there and win it. I mean, it's one thing to get there. You can get there, but you got to. But the hard part is to win it. Is to go there and get it and win it. And that's
I want to
where
share.
fans are frustrated.
I want to share some things with you that our family members are saying. Brandon shares you have to put together the whole jigsaw puzzle in order to see the whole picture. Ms. Rosalind is sharing it's all about the money, man. It's all about the money. And Brandon follows up by saying Jimmy Butler definitely had us standing stout. David shares they could have had Jaylen Brown the year they took Fultz. Alfred shares look at the Bears, a culture of bad decisions.
Chicago Bears,
and yes, and Tatum comes from the Duke culture of winning. Malcolm shares he was pissed when Butler got away, and Eric shares about Tyson and Jake Paul. I kind of agree with you both. I'd rather watch Puffy and 50 Cent fight. However, my belief is that Tyson is going to leave Jake with something to remember him by.
Yeah, he might, whether or not, I don't know, will Tyson be allowed to take naps between rounds and all this?
How dare you? Listen,
all this other stuff.
Tyson, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on Tyson.
Now, if that was Tyson fighting Chris Murray, then I give him a chance. And then, of course, I would start the fight with, Mr. Tyson. I hope I wasn't out of line with that stuff.
Listen, I'm with Ms. Rosalind. She shared, it looks like Tyson is in good shape. I don't know, but I'm putting my money on Tyson. Now, if I had to bet, if I was a betting woman, I would put my money on Tyson as well. I mean, he does look good. He looks like he's in good shape. And Alfred asks, what is the name of your book, Chris?
The name of my book is First Draft, a collection of stories chronicling race, sports, and social justice in the 21st century.
Did you hear that? Make sure you let me know, Alfred, if you did not get the title of Chris's book. Ms. Rosalind shares, wait, we got to see it because I want to type it. Chris, can you put it in the chat for me, please, so I can share it? Ms. Rosalind shares, that's no joke. He was talking about the best. Okay, Chris, watch it. Don't get it twisted. Tyson is in shape.
I ain't gonna fight him. And I'm gonna take back every bad thing I said about him here. If I see it.
Ray Rose shares. They don't like paying healthy young players their money. They're always recruiting injured players and paying them less money. I agree. The bid is never going to be healthy, period. Embiid, he's never going to be healthy. I'm sure that's what you were typing. I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you. He is never going to be healthy. And David shares James Harden plays like he's throwing games in the playoffs and he stays in Las Vegas. Plus, Harden holds the record for turnovers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, But they probably, and in the immediacy of now, the Sixers could probably use him right now because it's the regular season and all that.
We will see. Because if he comes out here broke down, I'm going to be so pissed. Well, wait, I want to shift gears because Chris, we only have just one short hour with you. So now I was reading something, I kind of skimmed, and I saw something about the NFL's new kickoff rule. What is this new kickoff rule? What are we doing now?
Was just, before I came on this show, I was just going through it, and I think what they're trying to come up with is a way that they can make kickoffs returns exciting again without anyone getting hurt. And I just glanced over it myself, and like I say, they've already made some rule changes in terms of dropping the hip drop tackle and all that, and what they're going to, and I'm looking at what they're going to do about the kickoff. In other words, they're going to try to increase more returns and whatnot. Because last season it wasn't a lot of kicks. In other words. And so basically, I'm still trying. No one's really saying what it is.
Yeah, that's why I said, well, let me ask Chris. I imagine he's going to know because I saw there was some, controversy. There are conversations taking place about this new kickoff rule, and I said, okay, well, nobody's stating it plainly, what it is. So why did they feel it necessary to change the kickoff rule?
Because what's happening is that more and more kickers are getting the ball out of the end zone. But I think that the NFL was worried about whether or not, because one of the most dangerous places to get hurt on a football field is special teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've heard stories of guys being blindsided with blocks. Sometimes you don't see it coming. Then there's the concussions, but they've got to do something to make kickoffs success. I like a good kickoff return. Mm-hmm. I like, I remember, I think a Super Bowl began, I think with the Chicago Bears, a Super Bowl began with a kickoff return. Matter of fact, the first touchdown in New Orleans Saints history was on a kickoff. I like the kickoff return because like I say, in one play, a special teams play can turn a team around. A good return will put you in good field position. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay. I mean, that's, like I said, again, I'm still, they're basically, they said they took it from the old XFL and I'm trying to figure, and I'm still trying to, what they're going to, and so I'm trying to figure out, because as I'm reading through this, because I saw that earlier today that it says, if adopted, the new rule will do this, but no one is saying, okay, the kicking team will kick from 35. Mm-hmm. 10 members of the team will line up on the receiving team's 40-yard line. So, in other words, you're going to begin the blocking a minimum, and so you're going to begin the blocking. So, when the ball is either caught or hits the ground or landing zone or is returned from that kid hits. If it hits the landing zone, so to speak, in between the 20-yard line and the end zone, the kick must be returned and whatnot. The end zone must be returned. The kick fails to reach the 20-yard line. The receiving team takes possession at its 40-yard line. If the ball enters the end zone in the air, the receiving team can return it or down and take possession at the 35. If the ball goes out of bounds, the receiving team takes possession at its 40. So there's no fair catch. Onside kicks permitted in the fourth quarter. Setup and landing zones do not change after penalties. They have landing zones now. So that's it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to line everybody up, the blockers from the receiving team up to encourage more. So when they kick off, you have more contact, and if the ball lands outside the end zone, they're going to try to encourage more kicks. So more kick returns and all that, which I don't mind. Like I said, the most exciting play in football are the punt return and the kick return. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, like I said again, they need to and I think and they're telling teams that for you're no longer going to have the surprise onside kick like what the Saints did in the Super Bowl against the Colts. They're not going to. You got to announce that you're going to kick an onside kick, which I think is, I like. I like the surprise on kind of
I
kick.
saw that smile. I see that you like that. So I have two more things that I want to ask you about. One of which, now we talked a short while ago. It was brief when I was asking you about Dak. Now I was reading today that, it read, despite recently expressing confidence in securing a new long-term deal with the Cowboys, that Dak is now on track to play out his current contract with no signs of an immediate extension.
Well, how you can interpret that, it might be, negotiating tactics. I mean, it might be, again, I think maybe the Cowboys say they want Dak and all that, but it may be some negotiating tactics. They might, one side might want the other side to take something lower or whatever. So it's a cat and mouse game. I remember at this time last year with Lamar Jackson, they were talking about, well, Lamar may not be back and all that. I mean, it's a part of a cat and mouse game, about somebody paying you money. And I don't know if that's the same way in the entertainment world that you're a part of, but when it comes down to get that money, I always say you gotta get that money.
I do remember about Lamar. Listen, family, it's time for us to take just a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go to the phone line. So stay with us because we are coming right back.
Get ready to make your voice heard in 2024 with a special Word on Democracy live broadcast held in partnership with Power of the Vote. Join us on April 6th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Trinity Temple United Methodist Church, located at 750 South Broad Street in Philadelphia. Hosted by Wake Up With Words, Solomon Jones. This live event will focus on voter education, engagement, registration, and getting out the vote in Pennsylvania's 2024 primary election. Come hear from candidates for Attorney General and other offices. Meet and greet with community leaders and more in advance of the April 23rd primaries. Brought to you in partnership with Unique Prosperity LLC, Scoop Media, Philadelphia Black Clergy and Vicinity, NPHC, SEPA, JWC Consultants, and other community partners. Visit wordradio.com for more information and join us at April 6th at 1 p.m. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Tune into Word Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. We are back. We're in the final stretch of tonight's episode. Oh, that just kills me. Just kills me. I was sharing with you that we were going to go to the phone lines when we return. We did just lose one of our family members, I was told. Nick just shared that with me. So if you should call back, hurry, 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 because we only have just a few moments left. But we are going to go to our other phone line because another family member is still waiting to join the conversation. Hello, and thank you so much for calling.
Peace and blood, peace and blessings, my love.
Peace and blessings.
Is Chris still there?
He sure is.
Hey, Chris. Yeah. Do I have to remind you of something? This is Brother Ty.
Oh, no.
Hey, Chris, you know what? I think I already told you because you and my Denise, when y'all got married, I always compare y'all to us. But me and my baby, we celebrated our 50th year this January. But Chris, if you don't recall this conversation, because I heard you say what I told you. I said Jimmy Butler was what the Sixers needed. And I'm going to tell you what you told me. And I said, not only did he add the defensive portion of the game that the Sixers needed, because that's what I think his value was, but he brought 21.8 points to that defensive. And there's no way that Jimmy Butler was supposed to only be there 1 year, but you know what you told me, Cliff? You want me to tell you, or can you remember what you told me?
I can't remember it, man. But what did I tell you?
You said Jimmy Butler did not want to stay because the players felt that they was more felt that they were better. They felt they were more better than what they actually was, but they didn't. But they had not, shown it. You don't remember that? Because it made sense because you can you are better, but why would you think it if you haven't shown it?
Well, part of it was, and I saw this on the podcast with Jimmy Butler. Part of it is that he didn't get a sense that the coaching staff knew what it was doing, and he was just kind of. And I think it was this podcast that he did with what's his name? Riddick. Good Lord, Lance. I can't think of the guy who played at Duke, and I just think at the end of the day that I think Butler would have stayed. I just wish the organization would have stuck with him because supposedly it was Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons didn't necessarily like him and all that, but Ben Simmons, that's a waste of talent.
Chris, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm saying to you, you were saying it's not the organization. You were saying that Jimmy Butler did not want to stay under those circumstances.
Right. I mean, that's what I said because I think that he wanted to win. He wanted to win.
And what you said, what they needed to win. Go ahead. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No. But he wanted to win. But JJ Redick, that's who it was. So so he basically told him. He says, "Look, he didn't get a sense that the coaching staff knew what it was doing, and he was critical of Brett Brown." And I think he wanted to stay. I think Joel Embiid wanted him to stay there, but I think they wanted. They just didn't want Butler to stay there. But I think MB wanted him out there. I mean, MB. I think his influence would have made MB an even stronger player just from a mental standpoint. So that's and I think the Sixers would have gotten to the finals, maybe even won one.
Without question. Now, my brother, can I share one thing else with you?
Yes.
And I want to share this with you and my lovely sister because we talk what this hour or 2 hours about love. And I just want to say, my brother, I love you to death. My sister, I love you to death.
I love you more, Tyrone.
World to know with all the issues that folks keep talking about just all day long, every show it's always an issue. And God has already said it. If we love one another, everything will be all right. So, my sis, I'm calling you on this Holy Week to say thank you for being about love. And I'm just praying to the Almighty that He touches the heart of everyone so that love can win over everything.
We love you more. Thank you so much, Tyrone. Thank you. We love you more. Chris, thank you.
That's beautiful. I mean, in these wild times, it's hard for people to express love and to express the kind of feeling because I think right now the world needs love. I mean, I know that sounds rather cliche-ish, but I mean, looking at things around the world and all the things that I see on a regular basis, we really need to focus in, decompress from this thing for a while and just, just enjoy conversations. I
agreed. No, Chris, you could not have said it better. I agree with you. I'm sorry to have interjected. I truly am. I'm looking at the time. We only have just a few moments left. I have a question for you, another sports question just before we go. I was reading an article today that read that Paul George is the right person to study this generation. It read that he has a smoothness about him and a style of play that is unmatched. It shared that he's the model for the new generation of NBA players and NBA 2K gamers. What do you think about Paul George?
I've heard rumors. I've heard word that the Sixers may go after him.
Shut
I've heard this.
Like, keep talking.
I've heard this. Now I'm not confirming it to be true, but I've heard a little bit of chatter that the Sixers might be interested in Paul George. I heard it. I can't remember where I heard it, but there is a possibility. It's probably not. People float all kinds of things,
right
in the marketplace of ideas. But I've heard more than a few people talk about, why not Paul George here, and
and here I come asking about it.
It's really mixed here, so you never know.
What do you think? Do you think he would be a good addition to the 76ers?
I think he would be. I still think that they need a viable third option because you got Embiid and Maxey. And Tobias Harris has been in, he's been out, bada bing, bada boom, and you never know what you're gonna get from Tobias Harris. And that's not to say he's not a good player, but he's got to be consistent. He's got to be that third weapon. He's got to be
good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Chris, once again, thank you so much for coming to spend some time, your attention, your spirit, your knowledge with us. We so appreciate you, and we look forward to you joining us each and every week. Yes, we do. No matter what we discuss, we look forward to the conversation.
Right. I appreciate you having me here on Tuesday. This is the one part of my week that I look forward to. The rest of the week after that is just, let's get to Friday. We're okay. But this part of the week is cool because I get to have fun, I get to be myself and all that. So that's
and that's what we want.
And
we want
that's
the unapologetic
that's the thing. That's the thing I love about this show. And the thing about it, like I said, and I'm just happy to be online with one of Philly's great celebrity voices, can sing and all that, and that's the thing that I'm just glad to have just to be here to do this show, because like I said again, and I like the fact that you talk about a lot of these things, love and spirituality and things of that nature, because I consider myself, kind of a person that can get into the whole spiritual thing and, looking at things from that point of view and everything. And I'm not, and I know I'm a sinner. I'm probably the worst person.
Listen, hush. Chris, listen, we're going to talk offline so I can close the show. Okay. Family, just praise God. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. I'm going to ask you to pray for whatever's heavy on your heart and on the hearts of others. Just thank you so much. So much. Know that I love you. You hear me? But God loves you so much more. Remember that we're all in this together. You hear me? So be good to you, but please be good to those around you. Happy birthday once again to all of our love bugs that are celebrating a birthday. Special thanks to the entire Ord family, especially Niall and Nick, for all that you do. Family, have a great rest of your night, and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family.